Behind the thick stone walls of Vatican City, beyond the crowds of pilgrims and tourists, there is a door that almost no visitor will ever see. It does not open for camera flashes or sightseers. It does not advertise itself with a sign. It is guarded not by spectacle, but by silence. On the other side of that door lies one of the most mysterious collections of documents on Earth, a vast labyrinth of shelves and vaults that together form what is known in legend and rumor as the Vatican's secret archives. Tonight, we are going to step, at least in imagination, beyond that door. For centuries, people have whispered about what might be hidden there: lost gospels, forbidden books, heresy trials, secret letters between popes and emperors, files on kings, queens, revolutionaries, scientists, saints, and heretics. Some imagine evidence of conspiracies. Others think of history itself, stacked in boxes and bound in leather, waiting to be read. Before we go any further, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It helps this channel survive, grow, and continue bringing you deep, long-form documentaries that reveal the hidden chapters of history that rarely see the light. Now, let's begin. In reality, the Vatican's archives are both more ordinary and far more extraordinary than the legends suggest. They are not a single mysterious room, but a sprawling complex of underground corridors, climate-controlled vaults, and high shelves lined with centuries of paper, parchment, and ink. They contain mundane invoices and world-shaping correspondence. They are at once an office filing system and a time capsule for entire civilizations. The very idea of the Vatican's secret archives is misleading. The original Latin name, Archivum Secretum Vaticanum, doesn't mean secret in the modern sense of forbidden or classified. It means private. In other words, the Pope's personal archive, materials set apart for internal use, not a public library. Over centuries, this privacy evolved into mystery, and mystery invited speculation. The archives began taking their modern form in the early 1600s when Pope Paul V ordered the centralization of papal documents. But many records stretch back much further, some over 1,000 years. They sit today in a network of underground rooms, sealed vaults, and secure corridors, a quiet universe of ink and memory beneath one of the most visited places on Earth. Scholars estimate that the archives contain more than 50 miles of shelving, boxes stacked with letters, reports, decrees, financial ledgers, diplomatic dispatches, trial records, maps, personal petitions, and documents so fragile they must be turned with gloves. Tens of millions of pages. Only a fraction has ever been studied. For centuries, no outsiders were allowed inside. The nature of the papacy, as both a spiritual authority and a political power, meant that many documents recorded sensitive diplomatic dealings. Opening these records could shift alliances, inflame rivalries, or expose uncomfortable truths. The archives became a symbol of secrecy simply because they were closed. But in 1881, a remarkable moment reshaped everything. Pope Leo XIII opened the archives to qualified scholars. Suddenly, historians could examine original documents instead of relying on copies, rumors, or second-hand accounts. They could read letters written by popes, kings, theologians, missionaries, rebels, and inquisitors. The results were astonishing. The archives didn't bring down the church, as some opponents predicted. Instead, they became a treasure trove for history, correcting legends, clarifying events, and deepening understanding. Consider the trial of Galileo, one of the most famous conflicts between science and religious authority. For centuries, Galileo's confrontation with the church was told in simplified, dramatic terms. A brilliant scientist crushed by dogmatic clerics. When the trial documents were finally examined directly from the archives, the reality proved more nuanced. The records showed Galileo arguing his case rigorously, presenting evidence with confidence, even defiance. They revealed internal debates within the church, differing opinions among theologians, and political pressures shaping the final verdict. They showed that Galileo was not tortured, but placed under a form of house arrest. They also revealed how personal dynamics, pride, miscommunication, and power shaped a conflict that reverberated through centuries. The archives did not erase the injustice. They illuminated it, layer by layer. Yet Galileo is just one story among thousands. In another section of the archives lie documents from the reigns of medieval kings who wrote to Rome for guidance, favors, or support in war. Letters from monarchs pleading for legitimacy, alliances, or marriage annulments. Diplomatic records explain how popes negotiated treaties, mediated disputes, or occasionally fueled political tension. Some of the most striking records come from missionaries traveling across continents, to Asia, Africa, and the Americas. Their letters, sent back to Rome, contain vivid descriptions of cultures newly encountered, their religions, rituals, customs, and conflicts. Some observations reveal respect and curiosity, others reveal misunderstanding or bias. Together, they provide raw testimony of interactions that shaped global history through colonization, conversion, and cultural exchange. More troubling stories also lie preserved. There are documents detailing inquisitions, examinations, accusations, confessions, and trials. Some accounts are cold and procedural. Others are emotional, recording fear, defiance, or anguish. These materials reveal how institutions attempted to enforce orthodoxy and how individuals resisted, complied, or suffered. There are files about excommunications, suppressed movements, banned books, and clandestine teachings. Ideas that threatened church authority. People labeled as heretics or visionaries, communities forced into silence. These stories complicate the simplistic narratives of hero and villain. They reveal the tensions between power and conscience, belief and survival. Among the archives are records from the Crusades, communications from generals, reports from bishops, discussions of logistics, supplies, strategies, financial disputes, and justifications for war. These documents show how religious fervor mixed with political ambition, creating complex conflicts remembered today through simplified myths. Equally significant are the records of the Reformation, letters exchanged as Martin Luther's ideas spread across Europe. These documents show panic, attempts at reconciliation, efforts to crush dissent, and strategies to preserve unity. Through these pages, one can witness the tremors of a religious earthquake. Some of the most intriguing stories come not from grand historical events, but from everyday people. The archives are filled with petitions, letters from ordinary citizens writing directly to the Pope, requests for justice, mercy, protection, or intervention. Some are heartbreaking. A mother begging for her imprisoned son's release, a widow requesting protection from a corrupt official, a village pleading for help during famine or plague. These voices show how ordinary people understood power, faith, and survival. One section of the archives contains the canonization processes of saints, vast files documenting alleged miracles, witness testimonies, and personal letters. Some testimonies are humble and moving, others border on the mystical. All reveal how communities experienced suffering, hope, illness, healing, and the search for meaning. Not all documents are spiritual or dramatic. Many are surprisingly mundane. Tax records, land deeds, invoices for candles, choir expenses, food orders, payments to artisans, and construction plans. Yet even these small details illuminate how communities lived and how the Church managed a global institution. Consider the construction of St. Peter's Basilica. Its archives contain blueprints, cost disputes, letters from frustrated architects, invoices for marble, and arguments about artistic direction. These records transform an iconic monument into a human story, one of ambition, conflict, and perseverance. But some sections of the archives remain deeply sensitive. Documents from the 20th century, particularly the pontificate of Pius XII during World War II, have fueled intense controversy. Historians debate what the Pope did or did not do in response to the Holocaust. Some see silence, others see hidden intervention. When these records were finally opened, they revealed diplomatic protests, covert sheltering efforts, and troubling hesitation. The story remains complex, perhaps permanently so. The archives are not a place where simple answers live. They are a place where complexity waits patiently. Access remains tightly controlled. Scholars cannot wander freely. They must apply, be approved, and request specific documents by precise catalog numbers. Even then, not all materials are available. Some are too fragile. Some lack proper cataloging. Some remain closed for privacy or diplomatic reasons. This structure has fueled countless conspiracy theories. Are there forbidden gospels locked away? Proof of divine secrets? Evidence that could transform Christianity? The reality is more grounded, but in many ways more profound. The archives reveal a church made of humans. Humans who believed, doubted, feared, hoped, schemed, prayed, and erred. Humans who shaped nations, guided millions, made hard decisions, and sometimes disastrous ones. Humans who wrestled with the gap between ideals and reality. What lies hidden is not a single explosive revelation. What lies hidden is the complexity of history itself, preserved not in neat stories but in raw, unfiltered documents. If we could walk the underground corridors today, we'd see box after box, shelf after shelf, spanning centuries. Some boxes contain letters that change the course of nations. Others contain a simple handwritten plea from someone who lived, suffered, and died centuries ago. Together, they form a mosaic of civilization. The true power of the Vatican's secret archives is not what they hide. It is what they preserve. The fragile traces of humanity recorded in ink. History is not a polished statue. It is a messy, contradictory, unfinished story. And inside the Vatican's private archives, that story is still being read, debated, corrected, and rediscovered. Yet the deeper we go beneath the surface of Vatican City, the more we realize that the archives are not merely a repository of documents. They are a mirror of the world that surrounded the Holy See at every moment of its long history. And like any mirror, it reflects both what people wanted to see and what they wished to hide. Walk deeper into this imagined labyrinth, and you would encounter rooms filled not only with political correspondence, but with spiritual battles fought on paper, drafts of decrees that determined what millions would be taught as truth, letters from theologians arguing fiercely over a single phrase, a single interpretation, a single line of scripture. For nearly 2,000 years, the Church was not simply preserving the past, it was actively shaping the story of humanity's relationship with the divine, and the archives record every step of that struggle. Some of the most fascinating materials relate to councils, great gatherings where doctrine was debated, sharpened, approved, or condemned. Council minutes do not merely tell us what was decided, they reveal how difficult those decisions were. They show how bishops disagreed, how empires applied pressure, how rival factions clashed over ideas that seem abstract now, but once carried enormous weight. And then there are the missionary archives, thousands of pages describing journeys into lands the writers misunderstood, feared, admired, or failed to comprehend. One folder may contain observations from a Jesuit scholar encountering Chinese philosophy for the first time, wrestling with whether Confucian rites were compatible with Christian belief. Another may contain accounts from missionaries in South America, recording their shock at new environments, cultures, and languages. Some missionaries wrote with genuine curiosity, describing unfamiliar beliefs with respect. Others wrote with condescension, misunderstanding what they saw, and still others found themselves transformed, changed by the people they met, the landscapes they crossed, the questions they faced. The archives preserve their testimonies entire, but beyond letters and decrees lie the truly unexpected pieces, items that historians stumble upon almost by accident. One archivist once revealed that they discovered a small, centuries-old recipe book tucked between diplomatic letters, a list of the sweets preferred by a Renaissance pope. Another document, hidden deep within an unrelated file, recorded how a certain cardinal feared thunderstorms so intensely that he refused to sleep on the upper floors of the Apostolic Palace. These tiny glimpses pull powerful figures down from the pedestal of myth and return them to humanity. Yet some discoveries are far more consequential. Among the vast records lie reports from regions devastated by plague, detailed accounts describing suffering, panic, desperate appeals from villages begging for priests to bury their dead. Other files describe famine, drought, crop failure, and the Church's attempts, sometimes noble, sometimes inadequate, to provide relief. In one collection, letters describe a medieval kingdom torn by civil war, each faction writing separately to Rome, pleading for legitimacy and condemning the other side. These letters, often written within days of each other, reveal the fragility of power and the desperation of rulers who feared losing everything. And then, a few shelves over, the tone shifts again. Petitions from ordinary people asking the Pope to bless marriages, protect children, settle disputes between neighbors, or approve local customs. These everyday voices remind us that beneath grand historical events lies a world of private lives, each shaped by hope or fear. One of the most vivid sets of documents involves exorcisms. Contrary to popular imagination, the archives do not hide forbidden rituals or demonic secrets. Instead, they contain reports from priests describing strange illnesses or psychological episodes, written long before medicine understood their causes. Some reports show priests struggling to diagnose symptoms. Others reveal deep compassion as they tried to comfort families. These documents show a world grappling with mysteries of the human mind without the tools we now take for granted. Other collections record visions and miracles claimed across centuries. Some testimonies are poetic and moving, villagers describing lights in the sky, healings they believed to be divine, or apparitions that brought comfort during times of war. The Church often judged these claims cautiously, sometimes approving, sometimes rejecting, but the archives preserve them all as windows into the spiritual imaginations of past centuries. Then there are the financial archives, perhaps the least glamorous, yet among the most revealing. They document the rise and fall of fortunes, the costs of maintaining basilicas, the economic realities behind massive artistic commissions. They show the Church not only as a spiritual institution, but as a governing body with budgets, debts, investments, and negotiations. Some entries describe the desperate measures taken during wars, invasions, or financial crises. Others detail the careful planning behind new construction, artistic patronage, and charitable initiatives. These financial documents help historians understand how wealth flowed through Europe, how cathedrals were funded, and how artists were paid, including disputes, failures, and broken contracts. They show that the beauty seen today in Rome did not descend from heaven fully formed. It emerged from planning, conflict, compromises, and the labor of countless hands. Deeper still, among more restricted papers, lie diplomatic cables, messages exchanged between the papacy and world leaders during the most turbulent events of the modern age. Wars, revolutions, the fall of empires. Some papers describe negotiations with governments that no longer exist. Others reveal conversations that shaped events the public knew nothing about. These documents are often sealed for decades to protect living people or ongoing relations. Yet even in their secrecy, they testify to something profound. The Church's influence has not been confined to altars and sanctuaries. It has stretched into courts, palaces, and parliaments. And every step of that influence, wise or flawed, is preserved on paper. Perhaps the most haunting category in the archives concerns displaced or persecuted peoples, Armenians, Jews, minorities caught in wars, refugees whose stories intersected with Vatican diplomacy. Some letters are heartfelt pleas. Others are cold, bureaucratic responses. Together, they show how institutions grapple with impossible moral dilemmas. In reading these documents, one feels the tension between conscience and caution, principle and politics. The archives reveal both courage and failure. They show a church striving to help and sometimes failing to rise to the moment. These are the pages that challenge historians most. But the archives do not only testify to the past, they are also a living entity. New documents enter each year. Modern popes receive letters, make decisions, write reflections, and respond to crises. The archives continue to expand, though these modern materials will remain sealed for decades. It is a strange thought. Somewhere in the vaults below, documents written within our own lifetimes already wait for historians not yet born. They will one day read them the way we read the letters of medieval monks, as glimpses into a vanished world. Toward the deepest corners of this imagined exploration, one finds something unexpected. Silence. Not literal silence. Vaults hum with climate machines, but the silence of the unknown. Entire sections remain uncatalogued. Pages lie waiting for someone to discover them. Historians sometimes joke that the greatest secret in the archives is how much has never been read at all. This realization changes the narrative. The Vatican archives are not a place hiding finished answers. They are a place hiding questions, questions that have not yet been asked. For every file opened, 100 more wait untouched. For every story recovered, another lies sleeping. For every debate settled, new debates emerge. And maybe this is the most important truth of all. Archives do not exist to give us certainty. They exist to remind us how uncertain the past truly is. History is not a single narrative carved in stone. It is a living conversation between evidence and interpretation, between what survives and what vanishes, between what is preserved and what is lost forever. The archives beneath Vatican City are a testament to this fragile balance. They show us saints and sinners, visionaries and bureaucrats, heroes and cowards. They reveal the height of human ambition and the depths of human frailty. They challenge us to look at the past not as myth or legend, but as a vast tapestry woven from millions of choices, some noble, some devastating, all real. And as we finally step back from this long journey through the hidden chapters of history, we realize something profound. The true value of these archives is not in what they hide, but in what they allow us to see. They remind us that truth is not a secret locked in a vault. Truth is a pursuit, a conversation, a responsibility. And the deeper we look into the records of those who came before us, the more we are forced to confront the question, when future generations open the archives of our time, what will they discover about us?